My name is Mimi Bartels. I'm the head of production for FilmOne Entertainment. I am in charge of the stories that you inevitably fall in love with. My first job was out of uni, and I was one of those people that would say, "Welcome, this is Liverpool John Moores University. How may I help you?" I only did that for a day because I realized I am not made out to welcome people. And then I eventually did data entry for like a few months. So officially, my first job was to wear the school t-shirt and welcome people to my university for 24 hours. My dream was following my mom's footsteps. She was a banker, so I just inevitably thought I would end up being a banker and climb the corporate ladder. I had a whole 5-year plan. It was cute. I had a whole board, vision board and everything. So I was very derailed. This was not the plan at all. Working in film. It's interesting when people say it's a male-dominated field, but as of 2022, it's actually become more of a female-dominated field. But when I did start just dipping my toe in the industry, I remember I was going for a meeting trying to pitch our first film. I was on the marketing side of things then, before I crossed over to production. And I remember us being called lesbians because we wouldn't fall to the needed things we needed to do to succeed. So rumors started going around between my MD and I were together intimately, so nobody really should touch us. So that was one of the interesting things that we faced coming off, that if you don't appeal to what the men want you to do, then you would be branded as women that should not be touched because you're into each other. Which I found out later that a lot of women in the industry were branded, and that's what people heard outside, but that's actually not the truth of how they are, where they are today. But thankfully, we've evolved, I guess. So my first credits as a producer was for a film called Kambili, The Whole 30 Yards. We had released December 4th, and 10 days later I lost my son. I gave birth prematurely. So it was a very horrible moment in my life. And before that, I think like 2 days before that, I lost like 5 people as well. So it was kind of like, God, are you trying to prepare me for something? And then I lost my son because I gave birth prematurely, so he only survived for 5 weeks. So I kind of took time away from the industry, but then I took the pain and then worked on my second film, which happened to be, I think, the third grossing film of 2021. So I like to think that my son was with me when I was going through that, and that was my second producer credit. So yeah, I mean, I took the pain, and I'm a very big believer in taking negativity and turning it into a positive. That's honestly how I move on in this industry. But yeah, that's the most challenging time of my career. The most interesting and exciting thing currently in my career is working with young filmmakers. It's so exciting to see what they have going on in their heads, what the Gen Zs are thinking. I think I'm a millennial, so I classify as old now at this point. And also, the other thing I'm most excited about is our stories crossing over internationally. I feel really bound by duty and country to make sure that our stories are told properly and we are represented properly. So having the chance to even do that and connect with the international audience is fantastic. So yeah, I'm excited to see someone in Korea say they love Nollywood. a bit of backstory. I started out in distribution, so my job was just to take the product and then put it on different channels. But then I realized that I was making too much noise and actually not acting enough. So I said to my bosses that I think it's time for us to start up a proper production arm. It took me 2 years of hounding them, but we eventually opened up the production arm in 2020 officially. And I guess it was because of my hounding that we ended up having the second highest grossing film of that year, 2020. We churned out 7 productions during a pandemic, and then the following year we had 4. So I like to think that just because I'm a pest, I was able to change the narrative of where Film One is today in terms of creating stories and actually producing stories. But I won't blow my own horn. There's no right or wrong, there's only opinion. That's it, because I realize that if I don't, I'll go crazy. So I always have to open my ears and hear what somebody else has to say or what somebody else has to impute into something. And you always find out that you actually don't know everything that you think you do. So yeah, there's no right or wrong, there's only opinion. My best advice is very short. It starts with you. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's going to do what you do better than you. Everything starts with you. I will maintain a gender equal mindset.